asked. We are asking you, Sudhamadeva, raising respectfully our clasped hands, what is the deed you did among men that you have arisen in Sudhamma? He spoke this verse. Who gives a hut of sugar cane, a hut of grass, a hut of robes, who gives one of three arises in Sudhamma. Thus comforting his parents, be returned to the Deva world. Vimanavathu. Little chariot mansion. After the final nibbana of the Bhagava, his remains were distributed, and under the great Elder Maha-Kassapa monks were picked to recite Dhamma. Disciples, coming for the rains each with his own company, were living in various places out of consideration for the amenable folk. And the venerable Elder Monk Maha-Kaccana was staying in a wooded spot in a frontier region. At that time Assaka was reigning at the city of Pota over Assaka. Now Sujata, his son by his head queen, being banished by his father on the insistence of the junior-most queen, had taken to a forest life. In Kasspa Buddha's time, though he had been a monk, he died as a worldling then and now was reborn and was named Sujata. When his mother died young, his father's new head queen to had a son, the pleased king offered his wife a boon. When Sujata was 16 years old, she claimed it of him, asking him to make her son the heir. He refused, since his eldest son was his heir. She kept worrying him to keep his pledged word, till the king, feeling he must do so, told Sujata with tears. The youth, grieving at his father's grief, asked leave to go into a forest life. The king offered to build him another town, but he would not consent, nor that he should be sent to neighbouring princes. The king, embracing him, go on the understanding he should return when orphaned to take over the kingdom. Living with foresters in the wood, he one day went out hunting deer and pursued a deer till it vanished near the leaf hut of the Elder Monk Maha-Kaccana, who asked him thus. You stand leaning on a sturdy bow made from sound wood. Now are you warrior noble, a king's son, or a hunter wandering in the wood? Then, explaining himself, he said, I, reverend sir, son of the overlord of Assaka, am wandering in the wood. My name, I tell you, monk, is Sujata, thus am I known. The elder, with friendly greetings, said, Welcome to you, one of great merit, not unwelcome are you. Here water take so that you may bathe your feet. This drinking water too is cool, brought from mountain caverns. Drinking of it, prince, sit down on the spreading. Then the prince, returning the elder's friendly greetings, said, Your words are indeed lovely to hear, great sage. You speak what is sweet and purposeful with well-thought aim. What is the delight for you dwelling in the wood? Bull of seers, speak when asked. Listening to your way of speech, I will practice the path of Dhamma, aim. Now the elder, speaking of his own right practice as suitable for him too, said, The non-harming of all breathing things pleases us, prince, and the shunning of theft, unchastity, and the drinking of liquor. Aversion and practice of equanimity, learning, gratitude, to be praised here, now these things are praiseworthy. Know, prince, that 5 months from now you will be in death's presence free yourself utterly. Then the youth, asking about his own means of freedom, said, To what country should I go, and what is the work of man I should perform, or by what knowledge may I become unaging, undying? Then the elder, in order to teach him Dhamma, spoke these verses. There does not exist that region, that work of man or knowledge, having gone to which, prince, a mortal may become unaging, undying. Those of great wealth, great possession, even warrior nobles owning kingdoms, not even these, abounding in wealth and crops, are unaging, undying. Perhaps you have heard of Andakavan, whose sons, powerful, mighty, impetuous in attack, even these, attained to the destruction of the lifespan, broken up, are forever and ever. Warrior nobles, Brahmins, country people, serfs, low-caste sweepers, not even these nor others are through their birth unaging, undying. Those who recite the mantras of the sixfold law, devised by Brahma, not even these nor others are through their knowledge undying. And even those seers, ascetics who are peaceful and self-controlled, even these ascetics cast off the physical frame at the proper time. Even arihants, their mind developed, duties done, without cankers, lay down this body on the utter destruction of good and evil. Now the youth, speaking of what he himself should do, said, "Well uttered, great sage, are your verses, purposeful. Calmed am I with your good word. Be you me refuge." Then the elder, instructing him, spoke this verse: "Go not to me for refuge. Turn only to him for refuge, the son of the Sakyans, great one, to whom I have gone for refuse." Then the youth said, "In what country is your teacher, good sir? I too will go to see the conqueror, the matchless one." The elder said, "In the eastern country, he who was born of Okaka's line was there the thoroughbred of men, but he had passed out utterly. When the prince had heard the elder's teaching of Dhamma, he was established in the refuges and the practice of morality. Thus it was said, had the Buddha, your teacher, been alive, good sir, I would have gone thousands of yojanas to wait on him. But as your teacher has passed out utterly, good sir, I go for refuge to the Great One who had passed out utterly. I approach the Buddha for refuge, and also the Supreme Dhamma, and to the order of the Deva of men do I go for refuge. At once I refrain from killing of creatures, I shun what in the world is not given, am not a drinker of strong liquor, and I do not utter lies, and am content with my own wife." The elder spoke thus: "Go now to your father, your lifespan is brief, you will die within only 5 months, perform merit." The prince did so, and after 4 months he died and was reborn in the realm of the 33. On account of the power of his merit, a chariot arose ornamented with the 7 kinds of jewels, measuring 7 yojanas. It had performed the obsequies for the dead and offered a great gift to the order of monks. He paid honor to the Chaitya. The elder arrived here. The Deva youth came in his Deva-like chariot, saluted the elder, and exchanged greetings with his father. The elder asked him in these verses: "Like the 1,000 rays of mighty luster as in its course it illumines the regions of the sky, so is the way of this mighty chariot of yours extending all round for 7 yojanas. Covered all over with golden plates, its bodywork inlaid with gems and pearls, its carvings of gold and of silver, well traced with beryls, make it fair. The front with tracery of beryl and the yoke designed with rubies, and these horses trappings of gold and of silver, swift as thought, make it fair. In the golden chariot you stand surpassing all like Deva chief in chariot yoked with 1,000. I ask you, one of renown and proficiency, by what means have you obtained this splendor?" Asked thus by the elder, the Deva youth explained in these verses: "When I, reverend sir, was formerly a king's son, I was called Sujata. And you, out of compassion for me, established me in self-control. And knowing my lifespan was ending, you gave me a relic of the teacher, saying, 'Honor this, Sujata, it will be for your welfare.' When I, acting rightly, had paid honor with perfumes and garlands, getting rid of my human body, I arose in Nandana. And in the delightful Nandana grove, the haunt of many a flock of birds, I delight, attended by nymphs with dance and song." Thus the Deva youth, saluting the elder and taking leave of his father, mounted the chariot and went back to the Deva world. The elder told the whole of the conversation that had taken place between him to recensionists of Dhamma at the time of the council. Community content is available under CC by SA unless otherwise noted. Vimanavathu. Great Chariot Mansion. The Bhagava was staying at Savatthi, in Jeta Grove. And the venerable Elder Monk Maha-Kaccana making a tour in the realm of the 33 saw a Deva youth. Gopala, leaving his mansion and mounting his chariot in state to visit the pleasance for sport. The Deva youth, seeing the elder, dismounted from the chariot and stood before him, his clasped hands raised to his head. The venerable Elder Monk Maha-Kaccana asked him, mounted in this diversely painted car, fair and horse-drawn with 1,000 horses yoked, going towards the pleasure grounds like bounteous giver, lord of creatures, Vasava. Your chariot railings are both made of gold, well fitted with supporting boards and shoulders, with well-made posts finished by skilled craftsmen. It shines forth like the moon on the 15th. This chariot, covered with a golden net, with many and divers gems, making sweet sounds and glittering, shines forth with many a hand-borne whisk. Those hubs too fashioned with imagination, the wheels of the chariot adorned in the centers, and these hubs, also painted with 100 stripes, shine like lighting flashing 100-fold. This chariot is covered with divers paintings, and broad is its rim with 1,000-fold radiance. A delicious sound is heard from these as when the 5-fold instrumental music is played. On its front it is ornamented, decorated with gems in the shape of the moon, the luster ever pure and gleaming. Containing golden rays in profusion, it shines profusely as though with rays of beryl. And these steeds, decorated with gems in the shape of the moon, their necks held high, very swift like Brahmas, tall and massive, strong and speedy, move when they know what is your will. And these, all their 4 limbs in harmony, move when they know what is your will. They leap, rattling the fine trappings. A delicious sound is heard from these as when the 5-fold instrumental music is played. Tossing and moving together in the sky they leap, rattling the fine trappings. A delicious sound is heard from these as when the 5-fold instrumental music is played. The sound of the chariot and of the trappings, the thunder of the hooves and the neighing of the horses, a delicious sound is heard from these like Gandhava music in delightful grove. With gazelle-like bashful eyes in the chariot they stand, thick-lashed, smile, standing in the chariot, attend with clasped hands. They, clad in red, in garments dyed red and yellow, with eyes large and of crimson hue, well-born, of graceful form and pleasant smile, standing in the chariot, attend with clasped hands. They, with their golden bracelets, beautifully clad, with lovely waist and thigh and breast, with round fingers, fair faces, good to look upon, standing in the chariot, attend with clasped hands. Some youthful ones with graceful locks diversely adorned, braided equally, and shining bright, with service to please and delighting in your command, standing in the chariot, attend with clasped hands. They with chaplets and backed with lotus red and blue, adorned, fragrant with choicest sandalwood, with service to please and delighting in your command, standing in the chariot, attend with clasped hands. They, with garlands, and decked with lotus red and blue, adorned, fragrant with choicest sandalwood, with service to please and delighting in your command, standing in the chariot, attend with clasped hands. Those adornments on the neck, the hands, the feet, likewise on the head, make the 10 quarters shining all round like the autumn sun in its upward rise. Vibrating in a gust of wind, the garlands, in the arms and the adornments send forth a charming sound, pure, fair, for all wise men the sweetest, pure, fair, for all wise men the sweetest sound. And standing in the pleasure ground on both sides are chariots and elephants and musical instruments that make you glad with sound, O chief of Devas, as lute with bridge, blade and bow. While these many lutes, beautiful and of delightful appearance, are played, stirring joy at heart, the well-trained young nymphs upon lotuses freely whirl. And when what is danced and what is played and what is sung seem all the same, then here they dance, then there the nymphs, the glorious women, making shining dance on both sides. You rejoice enlivened by the orchestra, honored as if you were Indra, wielder of the thunderbolt, while these many lutes are played, stirring joy at heart. What was the deed you did of yourself of old when in a former birth you were born a human being? Did you observe the observance day, or did you find satisfaction in Dharma faring and practice? Of no insignificant deed that was done formally, or of observance day well observed is this extensive prosperity and majesty of yours in which you so greatly surpass the devas. Or is this the fruit of your giving donation, of practice of morality of homage paid? Now, tell me when asked. The Deva youth asked thus by the great elder, related that matter. That Deva youth delighted at being questioned by Moggallana when asked the question explained of what deed this was the fruit. The one of vanquished faculties, Buddha, perfect in energy, supreme among men, Kassapa, highest man, he who opened the door of the undying, Deva above Devas, the 100 marks of merit. Him I saw, mighty elephant, flood-crossed, like orb of burnished gold. Pure in mind, did I become seeing quickly that it was he, that he was indeed the banner of the well-spoken word. I, with detached mind, in my flower-bestrewn dwelling bestowed upon him food and drink and also robes pure and excellent in quality. After I had refreshed the supreme among men with food and drink and with robe material, with foods hard and soft and with lodgings, I am delighting in Deva city going from heaven to heaven. In such wise having made this unhampered sacrifice, there is purified, getting rid of this mortal frame, I am delighting in a Deva city like unto Inda. Long life and beauty, happiness and strength he that wishes for such excellent, O sage should bestow much food and drink, well made ready, on one of detached mind. Not in this world nor in that beyond does there exists one who is better than a Buddha or his equal. To them that seek for a rich fruit of merit he becomes the goal of supreme gift among them that are worthy of invocation. While he was speaking thus, the elder, knowing his mind was ready, without the hindrances and so forth, expounded the truths, and at the conclusion established him in the fruit of stream entry. Sotapanna, first stage of spiritual awakening. Then the elder, returning to the world of men, repeated to the Lord the conversation he had had with the Deva youth. The teacher, making the matter the occasion for a discourse, taught Dharma to the assembly that was present.